After 4 months without affection, my wife said, "Our love has cooled." I asked, "Who's Patrick?" And she went silent. For months. That's how long it had been since she last touched me like she meant it. I could count the kisses on one hand, and even those felt like petty, gentle, polite, lifeless gestures meant to keep things civil. I used to think distance came in miles, but it turns out it can fit perfectly between two people lying in the same bed, backs turned, pretending to sleep. I didn't even notice when we stopped saying goodnight. Just happened. That night she said it like she was talking about the weather. "Our love has cooled, Daniel." Her voice was calm, detached, as if she'd been rehearsing it. She was sitting at the edge of the couch, phone face down beside her, fingers nervously twisting her wedding ring. I remember the sting that ran through my chest. Not sharp, not instant, but slow and spreading like frostbite. "Cooled," I repeated. My throat was dry. "What does that even mean, Laura?" She sighed. "It means we've changed. I've changed. You've changed. Maybe this isn't the same anymore." I stared at her, searching her face for a crack, some flicker of emotion, but her eyes stayed on the coffee table. I wanted to shout, to ask if she remembered the woman who used to laugh so hard she'd snort, who dragged me to bed in the middle of the afternoon just because she missed me. But the words wouldn't come out. My voice felt locked somewhere behind my teeth. So instead I asked quietly, "Is there someone else?" Her eyes snapped up, a flash of something, fear? Anger. And then she scoffed. "God, no, Daniel. Why do you always go there?" "Always." I shot back. "You make it sound like I accuse you all the time." "I've never asked that before." She looked away again. "Because it's insulting. Just because I'm not affectionate doesn't mean there's someone else." The room fell silent. The ticking clock on the wall felt louder than our breathing. She got up, picked up her phone, and walked upstairs, leaving the faint scent of her perfume in the air. Something floral but distant now, like the echo of something that used to make me weak in the knees. I sat there long after she went to bed, staring at the blank TV screen, the word "cooled" replaying in my head. I didn't know if I was angrier at her for saying it or at myself for believing it might be true. The next morning, I noticed her phone buzzing on the counter while she was in the shower. Normally I wouldn't touch it. I never had a reason to. But that morning something in me snapped, the quiet, aching kind of snap that comes after too much pretending. The message preview flashed for half a second before the screen dimmed again. "Patrick. Had a dream about you again. Couldn't get you out of my head." I swear the air left my lungs. I just stood there, frozen, the sound of the shower running upstairs, steam drifting down the hall. My first thought wasn't rage, it was disbelief. I even laughed a little, like some idiot trying to convince himself there was a logical explanation. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe Patrick was a coworker who texted the wrong Laura. Maybe it was a mistake. But deep down I already knew. You can always feel when something sacred has been touched by someone else's hands. When she came downstairs wrapped in a towel, humming softly, I was sitting at the table with her phone in front of me. She stopped mid-step. "Why are you looking at my phone?" "Who's Patrick?" I asked. Just like that. Calm, quiet. She froze. The color drained from her face. Her lips parted, but nothing came out. Just silence. That silence told me everything. I didn't yell. I didn't throw the phone or demand explanations. I just stared at her, trying to memorize the face of the woman I thought I knew. She finally sat down, her towel slipping a little off her shoulder, and whispered, "He's someone from work." "Someone from work who dreams about you?" She flinched. "It's not what it sounds like." "Then tell me what it is," I said. My voice cracked. "Because right now, it sounds exactly like what it sounds like." She started crying. Not the guilty, dramatic kind. The real broken kind. That almost made it worse. Because it meant that part of her still loved me, just not enough to stop. "It started as nothing," she said between sobs. "We were both working late a lot and we'd talk about life, and you and I, we weren't connecting anymore. I didn't mean for it to happen." "Didn't mean for what to happen?" She looked at me like she was begging for mercy. "For it to go that far." I leaned back, feeling the world tilt. So it did go that far. She didn't answer. She didn't have to. The silence was louder than a confession. I think part of me had been waiting for her to say it, to confirm that the unease in my chest for months wasn't paranoia. That the late nights, the sudden showers before bed, The new lingerie she said she bought for herself weren't just coincidences. I used to believe love was about trust, but that morning I learned it's also about timing, about noticing when trust quietly expires. For days after, I walked around the house like a ghost. She tried to talk. She said she ended it, that she regretted everything, that she wanted to work through it. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But every time she touched me, I saw him. Every time she said, "I love you," I heard the echo of his name in her silence. One night I asked her why. Not angrily, just honestly. Was I not enough? She looked at me for a long time before answering. You were enough. You just weren't there. It stung because it wasn't entirely a lie. I'd been buried in work for months, thinking I was doing it for us, trying to build something solid for our future. But in chasing that, I'd stopped noticing her. And someone else did. Someone named Patrick. I started sleeping in the guest room. Not out of punishment, but because I couldn't stand the smell of her shampoo on my pillow. I'd lie awake listening to her footsteps upstairs, wondering if she was crying or just relieved that the truth was out. We tried counseling. We tried dinners. We even tried pretending. But the thing about betrayal is that it's not just about sex or lies. It's about the memory it burns into you. You can forgive someone, sure, but you can't unknow what they were capable of. You can't unsee the silence that follows your question. Who's Patrick? For months later, she moved out. She said she needed to find herself, which I guess was her way of saying she didn't know who she was anymore. Wife, lover, mistake. I helped her pack, quietly folding the life we'd built into cardboard boxes. When she hugged me goodbye, I didn't feel anger, just exhaustion. Sometimes, late at night, I still catch myself reaching for her side of the bed. It's muscle memory, the ghost of comfort. And then I remember her silence, the one that said more than any apology ever could. Love doesn't always end in shouting or slammed doors. Sometimes it dies quietly for months without affection. A sentence that sounds like weather. A name you didn't expect to hear. I used to think betrayal was a single act. Now I know it's a slow fade, the moment you stop being someone's first thought. The moment their phone means more than your touch. The moment you ask, "Who's Patrick?" And they go silent. That silence, that's when love really ends.